Welcome everybody to Spirit and Song, which is part of the gathering. My name is Reverend Simon Ruth de Voil. I am a musical interspiritual minister and a beloved graduate of One Spirit. And if you are here and you're not part of One Spirit, we especially welcome you. I'm going to light a candle for all of us. If you got one at home, you can light it as well. Our wisdom awakens, our memory returns. Within these open hearts, a sacred fire burns. And the way is simple, the way is clear, the way is humble, the way is here. And may the fountain within my being be ever flowing, pure, life-giving to all. And may the fragrance blossoming from my soul be softening, enlightening the hearts of all. And may the world I weave with the breath I breathe bring beauty, bring beauty. And may the steps I walk on the sacred earth be at peace, be at peace. Our wisdom awakens, our memory returns. Within these open hearts, a sacred fire burns. And the way is simple, the way is clear, the way is humble, the way is here. Amen. I'd like to draw your attention to the land beneath your feet, beneath your building, beneath your home, or if you're out sitting on a bench in a park, the land all around you. If it's ancestral land, please name the rightful owners. Send a blessing to the ancestors. I'm here on Abenaki land in what is now Vermont, but I know that we have people from all over the world who gather for Spirit and Song. So, what is Spirit and Song? It is a time that we explore the sacred through song, poetry, prayers, and deep listening. And the pattern that has developed over these past few months is that we have a time of deep listening, and then I open up the Zoom, and we have a time of speaking if our heart has something to share. And then hopefully we'll have time at the end for prayers for one another and for the world. Now today I've chosen videos and songs and readings that speak to how my heart is, and hoping that it will be relevant for more than just me, how our heart is holding so much dissonance. Humanity, we're witnessing a lot of suffering. We're witnessing inhumanity and also senseless violence that is impossible to understand. And my hope is that I can give us a pause and songs that help us digest and make sense of what's happening in our collective life. And I'd like to open with this setting of Psalm 22. I call you my God, but you are not here. I feel no comfort from my faith. Others say that they trusted you and were delivered, but my faith is not good enough for today's trials. I feel like a miserable worm, scorned. And yet, you have been with me since before the beginning, from the womb, the day I was born. You loved me and kept me when I was a helpless infant. Keep me safe still. I feel surrounded by danger, roaring lions and angry bulls. It has reduced me to jelly. I'm like a lump of melted wax. My mouth is as dry as an old clay pot. The dog packs are closing in. My enemies, inner and outer, surround me. Save me. I will not give up my faith. I will speak of it to others. I know that you do not despise the doubter, and that you hear us when we cry out. Keep my heart open to you, O God. Keep my heart open to you, O God. Let's deepen that in song. Open my heart, 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 open my heart. Open my heart, 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 open my heart. Open my heart, open my heart. In my heart is the road, and I will not be hurried. In my heart is the road, bless my feet on the journey to Jerusalem, to Jerusalem, to the place of peace, to the place of peace. In my heart is the road, and I will not be hurried. In my heart is the road, Bless my feet on the journey to Jerusalem, to Jerusalem, to the place of peace, to the place of peace. In my heart is the road, and I will not be hurried. In my heart is the road. Bless my feet on the journey to Jerusalem, to Jerusalem, to the place of peace, to the place of peace. I asked my friend Richard if I could change his song a little bit because in the church that I worked for many years, a unity church in the New Thought tradition, a metaphysical understanding of Jerusalem is the place or the city of peace. And whenever I sing this song, it reminds me that there's a whole invisible current of life happening with and through and around us, and how sometimes where we can't even begin to imagine peace is thoroughly established. You know, one of my heroes, Peace Pilgrim, said, often those who appear to have failed pave the way and ultimately succeed far more than those who, at the end of the day, look like they succeed. So I've got a video that has I stumbled across a year ago of the wonderful teacher Cynthia Bourgeault talking about what breaks her heart open. That's where we're going to go now.
What breaks your heart apart, and what breaks it open?
I think for me personally, what breaks it open is being in the presence of great beauty and of people who, in the face of almost unbearable odds against them, don't react with violence, but hold a ground of dignity. You know, what breaks my heart open is just witnesses like many years ago that the Amish families who found their children were mercilessly gunned down at school, and rather than going to blame and recrimination, they stand not disguising or repressing, but allowing that heart to be broken wide open without resorting to bitterness.
Isn't that weakness? That's not strength.
No, that's what I call Eucharistic love. Because the heart that's broken open without resorting to bitterness is the heart of God reaching out to the world. And it's a sacred communion. So that's what touches me. And I guess you'd say that what breaks it apart is what then breaks it open. To watch the suffering, the number of lives that seem to end feeling like they're boxed in every direction, that the system is against you, and it is. To see the wanton violence, to see the crushing out of hope in people by situations that are simply done by cruelty and carelessness. So that wonderful possibility that it exists in each of one of us to be a transparent mirror of the divine will to take form, that gets crushed. And you watch it get covered over with a hard edge. And it seems to happen to all of us in some ways as part of putting on the armor that we have to get through life. But that would mean that the breaking the heart open is what goes in the opposite direction of that, where with the danger still raging out there, we take the armor off, knowing that something will hold us, and whether we live or die, we are the Lord's. Nothing can fall out of God, nothing.
Let's enter into a short time of silence. Let's continue in song. Aloha, oi, aloha, oi, ike ono ona nuhu, ikalipo. One fond embrace, ahoy, ayo, until we meet again. We merge with life, we merge with joy, we merge with universal love and wisdom. We merge with light, we merge with humankind, and live in peace on earth. Aloha, oi, aloha, oi, ike ono ona no ikalipo. One fond embrace, ahoy, ayo, until we meet again. We merge with life, we merge with joy, we merge with universal love and wisdom. We merge with light, we merge with humankind, and live in Aloha Oi, Farewell to Thee was written about 140 years ago by the queen of the last sovereign monarch of the Hawaiian kingdom, Queen Liliuokalani, or something a bit like that. Forgive my not so good Hawaiian. Hey Diane, you shared this quote and I think about it very, very often. So much has been destroyed. I have to cast my lot with those who age after age perversely with no extraordinary power reconstitute the world. So much has been destroyed. I have to cast my lot with those who age after age perversely with no extraordinary power reconstitute the world. These quotes and songs I've chosen are trying to respond to what I heard Cynthia say in that video. She said, with the danger still raging out there, we take the armor off, knowing that something will hold us. And whether we live or die, we are the Lord's. Nothing can fall out of God. Nothing. I often talk about this grace, this tender ferocity, as being bulletproof love. But what I love about this video that we just watched is that the way Cynthia describes it is so vulnerable and raw, and it can be a very costly path, this of love. And how also the path finds you. You can be living your life very empowered in your own wee world when suddenly the bottom falls out. Love, grief, the reckless thoughtlessness of someone else, mistakes of people destroy your life for no reason whatsoever. And we learn that projection onto God of the just God that we have made in our own image will never save us. God as love isn't an idea. It's a way of responding to the world. And don't get me wrong, ideas are also important. It's essential that we know ourselves. A waking up of humanity happens one person, one soul, doing their deep work of self-reflection. That's part of the remedy. That's part of what we need to do, is the idea. And a lack of clear thinking is actually really a bit of a pandemic right now. But we need to make our faith be in us and in our response. And when there is gun violence after gun violence, a lack of justice after a lack of justice, we all have things that are very hard that we're witnessing right in front of our eyes. It doesn't matter what our politics are. It's a dangerous time. And it's natural to be stunned or stopped in our tracks, listening hard for our wisdom teachers, listening hard to our artists, to our children, to the astrologers, and trying to find out what they're telling us about our path. And the work is how we invite, invoke, surrender, and respond. Can we move in this world and react with that which is greater than ourselves, with the strength of the ancestors and the angels, the creatures and creation all around us? Can we do this so that when we move, God can move through us? I believe that we can, and that we already do this. Billions and billions of billions of us, not just humans, bringing light into the terrifying and fertile darkness. Here's a song that's kind of saving my life right now. It's by my friend Richard, who wrote the earlier song about Jerusalem. In the Catholic tradition, this is one of the faces of the divine, faces of a the sacred feminine, Mary, as the untier of knots. Undo me, untier of knots, I am ready. Undo me, untier of knots, I am ready. I am ready, because I am tangled, longing to be free, free from these patterns. Undo me, untier of knots, I am ready. Undo me, untier of knots, I am ready. I am ready, because I am wounded, aching to be healed, healed to be joyful. Undo me, untier of knots, I am ready. Undo me, untier of knots, I am ready. I am ready, because I am tangled, longing to be free, free from these patterns. Undo me, untier of knots, I am ready. Undo me, untier of knots, I am ready. I am ready. Now I know, Henry, you're on the telephone, so you can't see what I'm showing everybody. I'm showing everybody a block print by a wonderful artist, Greg Yingst. I'll send it to you, actually, a copy of it. I don't have the original. And it shows Mary looking very Jewish with her shawl and then Celtic knotwork and a halo around her. And in her hands, she's holding the two braids that are part of the sacred knotwork, which I think of as the universe, as well as her halo that is behind her and all around her. It's a powerful image, isn't it? I'm going to open up the Zoom in a second and ask for you all to have the opportunity, if you want to share what you're feeling in your hearts. Would you like to see the Visio Divina, the video again? Would you like to watch that a second time, or do you feel good on that front? It's traditional in Lectio Divina to go back to the text and read it a few times, but video is a little bit different. Can you put your hand up if you would like to see it again? Yeah. Oh, great. That's everybody. Here it is. And then we'll open up the Zoom to hear.
What breaks your heart apart, and what breaks it open?
I think for me personally, what breaks it open is being in the presence of great beauty and of people who, in the face of almost unbearable odds against them, don't react with violence, but hold a ground of dignity. You know, what breaks my heart open is just witnesses like many years ago that the Amish families who found their Their children were mercilessly gunned down at school, and rather than going to blame and recrimination, they stand not not disguising or repressing, but allowing that heart to be broken wide open without resorting to bitterness.
Isn't that weakness? That's not strength.
No, that's what I call Eucharistic love. Because the heart that's broken open without resorting to bitterness is the heart of God reaching out to the world. And it's a sacred communion. So that's what touches me. And I guess you'd say that what breaks it apart is what then breaks it open. To watch the suffering, the number of lives that seem to end feeling like they're boxed in every direction, that the system is against you, and it is. To see the wanton violence, to see the crushing out of hope in people by situations that are simply done by cruelty and carelessness. So that wonderful possibility that it exists in each of one of us to be a transparent mirror of the divine will to take form, that gets crushed. And you watch it get covered over with a hard edge. And it seems to happen to all of us in some ways as part of putting on the armor that we have to get through life. But that would mean that the breaking the heart open is what goes in the opposite direction of that, where with the danger still raging out there, we take the armor off, knowing that something will hold us, and whether we live or die, we are the Lord's. Nothing can fall out of God, nothing.
Amen. What are you hearing? What is your heart noticing? Diane, please, yes.
I think what I'm hearing is the first time I heard Cynthia say, nothing can fall out of God, I heard that as more oriented toward protection. In watching it and listening the second time, what I heard was, nothing can take the choice to love away from us. That as she describes responding to whatever we see with an outpouring of the heart, an outpouring of love and compassion and tenderness, I think so often in our reaction to the things that are so painful to see in the world, it's easy for us to begin to feel incapable of responding with love. But the idea that we can never fall out of God, we can never not be a part of that source of endless and boundless and limitless love. It also, to me, is saying we always have a choice of whether we want to be the extension and whether we will take a stand for being that in the world rather than being part of what seems to be the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Diane, when I was ordained, a very special thing happened, which was there was a elder from New Zealand gifted a punamu, a green healing stone, to one spirit. And this really spoke to me because the island that I came from in Scotland has green healing stones. And I actually gave my own personal stone to my classmate from New Zealand who'd brought the big, huge punamu, and she took it back to this man called Barry. And I wanted to meet him so much, so I went to New Zealand, and I didn't get to meet him because his wife was ill. But I read his books, and he talked about a lineage of indigenous people called the Wataha people who were there before the Maori on the South Island, and how they were very peaceful people, and they knew that the warriors were coming, and they decided how they lived was more important than how they died. And the reason you don't hear about the Wataha indigenous people is because the male line was entirely murdered, because they opted not to fight. And the wisdom was carried through the women, and probably the children too. And I remember being deeply moved when I heard, like devastated, but also deeply moved that you can be strengthened to that level, that the choice you make, and ultimately probably that choice is what continued on the lineage. And it's healing. The punamo, the greenstone, is healing, and it doesn't necessarily look like healing from the outside. That choice, and I believe it's a grace that is given to people that they're able to make that choice. Just I've not stood in those shoes. You know, the Amish that they talked about, whose elementary children were shot. I've never had to face anything like that. Yeah, it's very profound. It takes all the ideas about theology and makes it so real.
If I can add one more thing.
Please do.
What happened with the Amish children hit very close to home for me because that's where I'm from. Not the Amish community, but Lancaster County in Pennsylvania. And I read a lot of the things that were written about the Amish community's response afterwards. And one of the things that was most striking to me is that they made the decision to tear down the schoolhouse, that they did not want to have a monument to death. They did not, and I was thinking how different that is to how we respond with memorials, and I'm not saying that one is wrong and the other is right. I think there's tremendous love in things like the Vietnam Memorial that has the names of the people who were killed, but they made a very clear decision as a community to tear down the schoolhouse and return the ground to growing field. And they built another schoolhouse, a bit of a distance away, because they wanted the life producing energy of the field to, in a sense, triumph over the loss.
That's so powerful. It's also reminding me of how to see the person and not as victims, and how memorial can really keep the souls as victims in our eyes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Diane. Can I open this up to anybody else? There's no need for you to share, but if you want to talk to the image of Mary, Untier of Knots, or any of the songs that spoke to you. Our hearts all hear different things. Susan.
I hope you can hear me. Thank you.
Yes.
My connection is sketchy, so I hope you can hear me. The order of songs that you sang flowed beautifully. The first was open your heart. And then the second one had the words in the heart. And I thought, how simple but wise is that we have to open before we can let someone in or show what's in our heart, let it out. And then Cynthia was talking about the armor that we sometimes put on, and that the love of God comes without bitterness. But sometimes I think the bitterness in response to the events of the world keep that love in. And then there was the image of Mary untying the knots of that armor. And so maybe it's an armor made of Celtic thread that doesn't serve the purpose of the greater good, and don't those knots need to be untied? Or it's the knots of response to harm of self or others, and don't those knots need to be untied? And so sometimes we need help untying our own knots so that we can open our heart and let others in. And those last words about, I can't remember them now, about the dropping, God doesn't drop us. I've got the image of a nest, and
Yes.
we're like baby birds that could drop out. But God is always the holy, the divine, is there to catch us and keep us. That was just my thought. I can't be dropped.
Nothing can fall out of
Many
God.
times as I try to leap out, I cannot be dropped. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Elizabeth, yes, please share.
I have probably just a story. I've been to Jerusalem. When you spoke about Jerusalem, I was transported back to there. And there's actually a very pervasive feeling of fear in Jerusalem. It's not a peaceful place. And you walk the Stations of the Cross down these narrow little alleys. And on one side is the Muslim side, and on the other side is the Jewish side. And we went and saw the, what's it called? The Muslim dome of I've slipped my mind for a minute, the golden dome of the mosque on the top. And you're not even allowed to walk within about 10 meters of it if you're not a Muslim. Then certainly can't go in. And it was the most amazing experience to walk the path of Jesus and to go to all those places. But it certainly was not a peaceful place. But then further on in my journey, I went to where John the Baptist christened Jesus on the Black Sea, which was so beautiful. And then in my hotel, you could get down to the Dead Sea, rather not the Black Sea. You could get down to the Dead Sea from the hotel. And it was quite late at night when we got there. But I still went down and had a look at the water. And the lifeguard told me the beach was closing soon and it was very rough, so don't go in. So I just sat and looked at it. And the lifeguard was called Mohammed. And after a little while, he came up to me and he gave me this. Which is a big heart-shaped stone.
Yeah.
And I just, I was a bit speechless really, and I just sat there with this stone in my hand. And I went to give it back to him, and he said, "No, this is for you. It is for your heart."
He knew. I chose the dissonance around that song, around the Jerusalem. It's not a place of peace in our political world. It's this human created injustice and hope that didn't work out, and it's different depending on which side you see it from, and the same with Aloha Oi, Queen Lulukalani was in house arrest when she wrote that song to her beloved Hawaii. This dissonance that can immobilize us. And if we're immobilized, then we can't respond. Then we separate ourselves from us and everybody else. And I love how Muhammad was his name, yeah? Oh, he brought you a piece of your own heart from right there. How beautiful. Thank you for sharing. We can all go home now. Hey, I've got another song for us, but if there's somebody that's like, there's something I need to say, wave at me right now and I'll pause. Thank you, Diane and Elizabeth and Susan, for sharing from your own tender lives. I've got a Sufi chant for us now. The heart is not a holding place. My heart is not a holding place. Thy spirit is golden. My spirit is golden, and I am free to fly. The heart is not a holding place. My heart is not a holding place. Thy spirit is golden. My spirit is golden, and I am free to fly. The heart is not a holding place. My heart is not a holding place. Thy spirit is golden. My spirit is golden, and I am free to fly. The heart is not a holding place. My heart is not a holding place. Thy spirit is golden. My spirit is golden, and I am free to fly. The heart is not a holding place. My heart is not a holding place. Thy spirit is golden. My spirit is golden, and I am free to fly. The heart is not a holding place. My heart is not a holding place. Thy spirit is golden, my spirit is golden, and I am free to fly. Into this heart expansive oceanic place. Let's place our prayers. I'm not going to get us to type them into the chat. I'd like us to stay in this slightly different headspace that isn't about little fingers typing on keyboards. So I invite you to hold your prayers for your loved ones, for yourself, for the cells of your body if they're not well, for the world, for war, for justice, for those who are struggling this day. Hold them in your heart and we'll sing this blessing. And we'll sing it in first person the first time to deepen our connection with the prayer, and then we'll send it out. So we'll sing it twice. Love with me, love before me, love behind me, love in me, love beneath me, love above me, love on my right, love on my left, love when I lie down, love when I arise, love when I take rest, love to shield me, love with you, love before you, love behind you, love in you, love beneath you, love above you, love on your right, love on your left, love when you lie down, love when you arise, love when you take rest, love to shield you, love in the heart of everyone who thinks of you, love in the mouth of everyone who speaks of you. Here's our last song. It's a blessing. We send it out to those that need this blessing. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the child of peace to you. The moon and stars pour their healing light on you. La 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 la. La 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 la. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of blowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Stars to you. Deep peace of the child of peace to you. The moon and stars pour their healing light on you. La 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 la. Last time we send this deep into the earth. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the child of peace to you. Moon and stars pour their healing light on you. La 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 la. Hey, I am not here in August and September. Well, in August I am here, but it's my 10-year wedding anniversary that day. And then in September I'll be on the island of Iona, which used to be my home, and there's terrible internet there. So there's not going to be Spirit and Song again, at least until October. But please come back first Thursday of the month. I am doing many things online. So if you're like, I want to sing with Simon, have a look at my website, simondevoil.com. You're welcome to jump into any of the things that I do. Thank you for coming. We're going to blow out the candle and say our closing prayer. Now, this is an adaptation of a prayer from the Book of 1,000 Prayers. And the traditional language is Lord, and we're going to say, you who witness. You who witness our darkest place, let in your light. You who witness our greatest fear, let in your peace. You who witness our most bitter shame, let in your word of grace. You who witness our oldest grudge, let in your forgiveness. You who witnessed our deepest anger, let it out. You who witnessed our loneliest moment, let in your presence. You who witnessed the truest self, our all, let in your wholeness. Amen. Aloha.
Good night, everyone.
Oi. Aloha. Oi. Ike ono ona nohu. Ikalipo. One fond embrace. Ahoy, ayo. Until we meet